Persperity. In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we'll take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Oh yeah, mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Trauma whispers, but love will shout. In this space of trust, there's no doubt. We'll explore the depths of pain and grace, finding strength in every embrace. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Take a breath and join the ride. Together we'll walk side by side with open hearts and open minds. In this podcast space, true peace we'll find. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma.
Hello. All right. Welcome back, everybody. We have another week, another episode, different guest, and I'm glad to be here. And some of you may, this familiar face, maybe familiar to some of you, but we're about to get into some great questions, an awesome topic, and awesome guests. So, let's get into this intro. Welcome back to Persperity Podcast. Today, I'm honored to bring you a truly powerful conversation from victim to victor, overcoming the legacy of abuse and betrayal. Our incredible guest, Purtrice Peaches Shaw, joins me to share her journey of resilience, healing, and reclaiming her power. Get ready to be inspired by our story of triumph and transformation that proves you can move beyond your past to build a life of purpose. All right, before we get started, shout out your business. Like, talk to us about some of the things you have going on before we get into these questions.
Again, I'm just a real regular, smegular, degular person. I do have a business called Creative Touch, and I like for my slogan to be, my slogan is I don't customize, I don't specialize in one thing. I customize all things because pretty much if you ask me, I'll send me a picture of something I can most definitely recreate it or either, come close to it. Um, I have two children with a legal guardianship over my nephew. My daughter is going off to college August the 13th. She's leaving me. Other than that, just normal life. Life is lifing.
Okay. It's always exciting when you have a child going off to school, but also a little sad. That binds. It's like, it's really thick. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
But
I don't think the sadness have quite hit me yet, but I'm more so like an excitement. Not even I don't know. It's just like I feel like I kind of equipped her, so just basically sitting back and watching what she do and just jumping in when necessary. But I don't know if I'll be sad or anything like that, or it probably haven't hit me yet. Probably August the 13th it hit me, and then the tears are flow.
I, I understand. I understand. I've seen it many, 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 many times. So, like,
Right,
parents feel that way, and then it's like waterworks.
that part.
Yes. So thank you for sharing all that. Are you ready to get into some of these questions?
Absolutely.
Right. So the first question is, how do we begin to identify the ways abuse and betrayal have shaped our perception of ourselves in the world?
Um, I would most definitely say that when it just don't sit right in your spirit, because I know growing up, for me, you just heard about physical abuse, and so much you hear about physical domestic abuse, but you never hear about those other abuses, the spiritual, the emotional, financial abuse, just so many things. And I know for me growing up in my home, most definitely, um, physical abuse was most definitely um, happening like every day. Like I cannot remember a time where I did not see my mom having a physical altercation with one of the guys that she was dating. So much so that I knew I was just like, uh-uh, I'm not being. I cannot do no physical abuse. So much so I often say, if I was supposed to get abused, my mama took all my licks for me because it only ends two way for me, death or jail, and I'm ready to do both. And it wasn't until I got into a relationship, me and the guy, and he was a long time friend, but me and the guy, we grew up together, and we was just like, oh, let's just finally try this thing for real. And that's when I'm like, I am actually in a emotional, emotionally abused relationship. There wasn't no physical abuse, but it was at that time during that I was just like, wow, I focused so much on the physical abuse that society doesn't talk about. What does emotional abuse look like?
Yeah.
Whether it's from a parent, from a loved one, from a mate, a boyfriend, or what, from even from your kids. What does emotional abuse look like? What are the signs of an emotional abuse? And abuse is anything that doesn't make you feel good, anything that makes you feel less than. And so it wasn't until I became an adult. And when I say an adult, those was like my mid 30s, to where I'm like, I've been in an abusive relationship. And so sometimes when I say that, people are like, dang, not physical abuse, but and sometimes, and I tell people, those other abuses that we do not talk about, those are, for me, I feel are much worse than physical abuse, because that physical abuse heals, that outside heals. But when you get emotional abuse and mental abuse, those things take years and years and years. And that's from anyone, a loved one, a relative. Those things that's trauma, and it takes years to heal.
It really does. It's it what they call, that's a part of, to me, in the research I see, is what, and that basically imbalances the chemical imbalance. Because
Mhm.
over time the brain starts deteriorating. It starts mushing. It starts not sending the signals to the brain of, hey, that's wrong, or hey, this is abuse, or hey, you shouldn't do that. So people tend to fall into things to be able to not deal with the things that come.
Mm, absolutely. Or either it becomes your normal. So when you do leave a situation, or when a situation leaves you,
Hmm.
you go out and seek for the abuse that you've been seeking. And then if you run into someone who does uplift you, it's like it's a strange, because it's like, what do you want from me, and who are you, and why? It's like, why do I deserve you talking nice to me? Why do I deserve you treating me like I should be treated?
Yeah,
So
I agree with that. I do. You have two people on here. Cheryl Davis said, "Hey Peaches," and Rashawn Freeman said, "Hi Patrice Peaches."
hi, Miss Freeman. Hey, Mrs. Cheryl Davis.
Yes. All right, we want to transition into another question. All right, what are some of the most challenging internalized beliefs that survivors grapple with? How do these beliefs hinder the healing process?
Most definitely, I think I just spoke on that. Is most definitely is trying to understand and knowing your self worth when you being in an abusive situation for a situationship for so long. It's just like telling yourself if you've been told that you're ugly and everything like that, and it's just like then when you know or when you find people to lift you up and you get told that you beauty, it's just like you have to find that inner strength to know that you are who you believe you are to be, and knowing your self-worth. And again, that takes years and years, because again, like I said, if you punch someone in the eye, that black eye, give it a
Gonna
week,
stay there.
give it a week or so. But if you in an abusive relationship for 5 years and ain't nobody gonna want you, and oh, you stupid, I t- like I tell, it's easier to fall in love than it is out of love. And so again, that can take years and years to try to come back. But it's just, I believe the hardest thing is most definitely believing in yourself, knowing your self-worth, and just getting over the fear of, even for me, I know when I left the situation, I'm like, oh my goodness, can I really do this by myself? Even like I said, just how am I gonna pay the rent,
Mhm.
and just really crying. And even though he was most definitely a help, but again, I was most definitely the breadwinner. So those things that come into play, like you can't do this by yourself. Do you not see this? And now ain't nobody gonna want you. And you go through all of those emotions, and you find yourself lonely at night. And but if you can get over, I say get over them lonely nights, then you pretty much got it in the bag. But it's most definitely just rebuilding your self worth, and just again, and I think you have to go back, because and being real with yourself, and then taking accountability sometimes too. Those most definitely for me take a factor into all of your self healing
Mhm.
for me.
It's good. Good. So to piggyback off of that question, how does one navigate the complex emotions of anger, grief, and forgiveness when the perpetrators, I'm sorry, perpetrators may never acknowledge their actions or apologize?
Ooh, I don't think that that's easy. It's just it just depends on who it is. Because some people may never acknowledge they wrong, or if it is they acknowledge it, but still make you feel as though you was the reason why it happened. Oh, I did this because of you did that. And just understanding that healing is not for them, is for you.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like I said, some things are triggered. And even though you think you over it, some things might trigger it. And I think for me, I think when those things are triggered, I don't think that means that you're not over it, or you have not um forgave a person. It's just like having a wound on you, a scar on you that's left, and or either something from surgery, and you're gonna always remember that, oh, this is when I had my surgery. That's when I had surgery, and you're gonna be able to recall it. Do that means you're stuck on that past of that surgery? No, but that just means that scar, that surgery, left a permanent mark on you. And sometimes that trauma left a permanent mark on you. But most of the times it's either, you have to know the person in which you're dealing with.
Mhm.
If they're not gonna forgive, you can say what you have to say and just move on. Or either, for me, I know my audience, and some people I am able to be like, hey, you did X, Y, and Z, And but some people it's just like, you know what, I'm not even about to even go there because I know there's going to be denial. I know you're not going to remember or it didn't happen. And those things for me, when you start saying, oh, it didn't happen, or oh, trying to make me feel or either discredit my emotions or trying to say my emotions are not valid or my feelings, then that's when I get really triggered and then we got a problem. So for me, depending on the person, I try not to relive trauma and just be like, hey, it happened, it is what it is, and just chop
Yeah,
it up as a L and just learn how to move on.
yeah. Like they call it gaslighting. I always tell people like don't gaslight me. Don't try to say I didn't. I know exactly what happened, but I've
Absolutely.
learned that now, and I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm getting where you're at, where you already are. Hey,
Right.
you got it. That's all you. That's what you feel and you think. Then you do that because and it's
Yes.
don't stress me out and cause more and more of an issue. And they started out being the issue, and then I became the issue by not letting the situation go. So now I'm the problem, and I have
Right.
the right to. They have a right to see me as a problem, being that I created a
Right.
situation.
And most people don't understand the reaction. They don't understand the reaction because I'm not acting like this just because it came out of the blue. I'm acting like there because it was an action that was done to me. And whatever my reaction is, I feel as though I'm validated. I feel like I have every right to act like that because again, it's my emotion. And I often tell somebody, oh, like, oh, it didn't hurt you that bad. You can't tell me, how to feel or how it did not hurt me. Because again, like I said, if I slap you and then slap somebody else, I
Yeah,
can't say either one didn't hurt because again, those are that person's feelings or what they're feeling. And I tell people I hate my biggest pay. You can do a lot of things to me, but don't play me. I ain't been delivered from people trying to play me. Ah, woo! I will go there. I will go. Baby, when I tell you, I will most definitely go there.
mhm,
I will go there because one, I feel like you're trying to say, like you said, you gaslighting me, and I know that you know that we know that it happened, and so you trying to really convince me that it didn't happen, or either it was at a level 10, and now you're trying to discredit or how it did happen. Uh-uh.
mhm.
No. So that I would get out of character. I ain't been delivered for that, but yeah, do not play. Yeah, I hate for a person, but again, to try to play me because, like you said, that whole, all of those cliches that we didn't hear, gaslighting, and just don't play on me. All of those things were swept up underneath the rug, and I most definitely at this age, I'm exposing. Because if you hurt me, you're gonna know, hey, you said this and it hurt my feelings. Now, whatever I choose to do with it or however you choose to act, but it's not my burden to carry because again, I carry burdens for so long because I didn't have an audience. I didn't have a leg, grew up in a where it didn't happen or oh, I did it because you did this. Or it was always our fault as to why something happened. And because I grew up like that, as an adult who takes care of her own self, nobody gets to play me like that. You don't get to devalue my emotions, my feelings, and again, I don't care who you are, from the oldest of our family to the youngest of our family to whoever, because again, it's all boils down to respect and even taking that initiative with my kids. It's just like again, as a mother, I know, parenting don't come with a manual. It's trial by error, practicing. That's what we do. And practicing parenting. And it's gonna be some things that probably I have to apologize for my kids for. And the biggest hurdle I think people have to understand is how to take ownership of someone's feelings without making them feel like they were the cause of what they did to you or without devaluing them. So as a parent, I'm like, how do what my son or my daughter say, well, mom, when you did this to us when we was this, and this is how it makes me feel. Oftentimes it came back to us, well, y'all was some bad kids. Because we was some bad kids, I did all of this. So it's just like, how do I take ownership of that and say, I did it, explain to them my reasoning and behind doing it without making them feel like they were the victims of, or either they caused it. So going back to people taking ownership, again, a lot of people don't know how to take their ownership because they haven't been delivered, or either that's not in their mind. You tell yourself long enough that it didn't happen, they literally believe that it did not happen. And so, like you said, it's like beating a dead horse. And so it's just like either you want to go there and keep on peeling off the wound and,
Yeah.
peeling off the scab and exposing it, or do you just be like, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and treat this and get it done and over with and move on.
Mhm. Um, do you feel like, to piggyback off of that, like, do you feel that people that have gone through trauma, or tumultuous circumstances tend to um, give other people trauma without knowing it?
Absolutely. I think until you start doing self-healing, you do pass down self-trauma. Absolutely. Um absolutely. You pass it on because again, it's how I was raised, and if I didn't see a problem with it, then I don't know. And like the old cliche say, hurting people hurt people. Because again, I ain't all the way there. But if you come from me, I want your jugular. Depending on who it is and stuff. And like Miss Francine said, it's most definitely again setting boundaries, because even today I had a situation with my brothers, and one was just like, call your brother and tell your brother to do this. And I'm like, I'm not in the middle of y'all stuff. I don't want to be in the middle of y'all stuff. And then I end up calling him. I'm like, what's going on? And so he reading me the text message. And so he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, listen, I
Mhm.
really don't care because I stand on my own too. And y'all got to figure it out. But most definitely, is setting those boundaries. And again, until you start doing self healing, you would think that what you're doing is right. And self healing come from surrounding yourself with people that's telling you, hey, it's
Mhm.
a better way of doing things. It's a better way that you could have said that. And I know my biggest challenge is it's not what I say, it's more so of how I say it. That I know because I grew up in a house to where you better have thick skin. They're gonna talk about you whether it wasn't no crying. And so coming off is like I know it, I just grew up rough, whether it was just living or either just people whatever people said to you. So most definitely took that into my parenting skill because in my mind, didn't nobody give it to me. I had to figure out life myself. Life ain't gonna wait for you. So I took that into
Mhm.
my parenting, and even though again what I said was most definitely real, but was there a better way of saying it? And just again holding surrounding yourself with people that's going to hold you accountable, telling you when you're wrong. And if you don't want to get to that stage, or if you don't have those people in your life, you're going to forever think what you're doing is right. Whether because again, I know for my daughter graduation, her family came down from Louisiana, and we were just over here having a conversation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this can't be real. And so in their family, they don't deal with emotions.
Mhm.
Like they don't deal with emotions. Like when we was at the little party and we was getting ready to cry, I was like, I know y'all ain't crying. Like even for my daughter, they cannot stand for my daughter to call them crying like something that happened between her and her dad or whatever, because they are not emotional person. And one of the uncles was like, emotions don't pay bills. And I'm like, emotions are very valid. And, to hear his daughter say, yeah, you did this, but you jacked us up emotionally. And I'm like, you don't hear what your child is saying to you, and you're gonna continue to be this way. And then so until again something traumatic to him or to a light bulb go off on his head, and not to keep it spiritual, but until he really see God's face to say, hey, it's a better way of doing this. That But no, some people, and I'm like, maybe it's a good thing that I didn't get caught up in your family, because ain't no telling what would have happened. Because emotions are real, very. So yeah.
So do you feel like you've come to the conclusion of just like all of these things that has shaped you to be who you are, which is an amazing young lady. Like my mom, Miss Truman, she tells me about you all the time. She was like, you remind me of Peaches, and Peaches did this, and Peaches this and that. And you tell me all I hear is Peaches, Peaches, Peaches. And I'm like, okay, mom. I'm like, all right, all right. And I'm like, to be able to see you and then have conversations with you and just be able to just like be in this setting with you. I mean, you could tell that God has done so much for you and with you and through you, and He's doing that now. So it's like it's amazing. But in all of that, do you feel that all of these things that have happened to you, or even just the common sense that you do have, um, that it has been beneficial for the person you are today?
I would most definitely say that it has. I think, if I could be honest, that I still struggle with it, because it's just like, why me? I text all the time. My mama had 5 kids. I'm the only girl, split right down the middle. You left me with this. I'm not the oldest, and sometimes, like, I had to just tell my brother, hey, I got XYZ going on. I ain't got nobody to say, me and 3 kids is coming to stay with y'all, or either, and so I struggle with it at times. Like, I'm tired of the burden. But again, I know that God has called me. I know that there's a purpose for it and all, because, like I said, I have to be the one to maintain. Because, again, if I drown, I always say, if I drown, at least for my kids, there's 3 other kids that's relying on me, that are going to drown for me. But just again, going back to just accepting what was and what wasn't, accepting that y'all not gonna acknowledge that we was physically, emotionally, y'all not gonna acknowledge those things that happened to us at thing, and being okay with it at times. Is those things still hurtful? Like I said, going back, looking at the scar, dang, I remember when that happened. But just always just moving forward, because it's, and trying to, you know, for me, a situation happened, and I was just blaming myself, no, blaming others. I'm like, man, my brothers them did this, and I'm like, this person did X, Y, and Z, and I did this one little thing, and I get all this, and man, and I don't even know why I'm here, and I'm just having a full blown out pity party. Now I know why I was there. But then it was just like, so God was just like, literally, he was just like, now you know why you here. This ain't got nothing to do with your brothers, your cousin. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody. You know exactly why you were here. And it was at that moment. And I think Vanessa was probably, she's 18 now. And I think Vanessa was probably 2 or 3. And that was when we moved back to Kansas City. So it was fairly, so around about maybe 15, 14 years ago, to where it was just like, I learned the power of accountability. And I knew then that I wanted to teach my kids accountability. Because sometimes the lack of accountability will keep us stagnant. It'll keep us in that same spot instead of moving to another spot. It'll keep us right where we are, until you learn accountability. But it was at that moment where I learned accountability and I understood the power of accountability. And so it was like, okay, God, I did it. This is why I did it again. But then I, overdid it, and that's why I'm in this situation. And at that moment, I think the next day they was just like, "All right, bye," and I'm like, oh, "Okay," with not, and I was like, "Wow." And so again, just taking the accountability and just knowing the accountability. And I teach Vanessa them like, hey, life ain't perfect. You got two ways to look at life:
Mhm.
half empty or half full. The cup is still the cup.
Yeah.
Either you can complain
Mhm.
about it. And I just had this conversation, because I think she was just like, oh, I just want a normal life. I'm like, what's a normal life?
All right.
I said, if everybody normalcy is not normal. So what's normal to you ain't gonna be normal too. And I was just like, again, it's probably hard. Like you hear how I grew up all the time, so it's just like, oh yeah, yeah. But again, I remember your mom, like how Vanessa had this whole prom thing. Hold on. Mommy, hit me hard in my head. That's the one. Tell Dewan to stop it before he get in trouble, okay? Walk on your feet and tell them to tie your shoe. Sorry, my nephew. But I remember your mom coming over for prom. I got my whole outfit from at that time it was Fashion Emotion, and my grandma was like, no, 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 and you do this, and I think from the dress on down to the shoes, it was like maybe $150. And I came with a check, monthly check and stuff because my dad, I had Social Security from my from my dad. And I was like, I didn't have what you had. So again, whatever's going on, Vanessa, no, it's not perfect. We wasn't dealt the perfect. But again, don't concentrate on what you don't have. Concentrate on what you do have. And I can guarantee you, if you concentrate on what you do have, you
Mhm.
will go much further in life because, again, from your support team, emotionally, you have so much more than what I have.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you can most definitely, again, look at the cup as half empty, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna complain and you're not gonna move because you're looking at what's around you. A steady, what can I do to add to this cup? And that's what I charge you to do. One moment.
It- All right. So take this intermission to say if you're watching and you have not subscribed to Persperity Podcast on YouTube, please go like and subscribe and click that bell so you'll always know when I go live, which is every Monday at 6 p.m. or sometimes it's pre-recorded um at with different guests. And just know that this is a safe space where people hold me accountable and that any guest that's on, God gives me that guest name in the topic and that it resonates with the guest. But please go like and subscribe right now to Persperity Podcast on YouTube. Soon to be on all streaming platforms, streaming podcast platforms. But yeah, back to you, Peaches.
Yeah, listen, Mrs. Davis. I know kids, and not only my kid. My brother just complaining. You won't eat out. How long do you want me to have him? All the way until Friday. Then to pick him up, he gonna say, "Don't nobody love me." I ain't never been able to call nobody that I can drop my kids off for a whole week. But going back to the topic, it's most definitely just I say accountability. And even now, okay, God, how did I end up in this situation? What did I do to cause this situation? And you know, and in some situations I think accountability is in every situation. I think we can, if we're honest with ourselves, when we end up in a situation, we can see how we could have done something different. But as long as you a pick me person and woe it's me and you looking for somebody to have sympathy for you, It's just like, mm-mm. I tell my niece all the time, everybody got a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just what you gonna do with your story? Now the dogs are happening yet again.
It's okay. Look, look. That's all. It's authentic. Life happens. It's okay.
They keep on walking past. I'm about to send the dogs outside with them.
It's okay. Look, the baby came up and was like, somebody did this, and that. The dog said, I want all the smoke. So,
Man, I love it. And I think they keep on walking past the front door on purpose so they can bark.
okay. Well, I mean, you can continue on. Go ahead.
No, for that question, I think that was
Mhm.
pretty much most definitely for me is just accountability. And I think more so I understand my accountability than my own strengths, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Wow. Accountability then on strengths. That's deep. That is deep. Because sometimes people can be full accountable for different things and mindful of it, but and as sometimes it's really difficult to take that moment to just really hone on those skills. I mean, the actual strength and the skills that you actually have gotten from that accountability that you've done. Because I tend to see that with a lot of people, such as I as well, have gone through trauma and tumultuous circumstances. We don't give ourselves credit. We just keep going. It'd be like, okay, I'm going. That's nice. That's happening. But I got to steady keep going rather than actually just like, okay, well, I actually done way more than I realized that I was doing, you know? So it's not uncommon.
Right.
Yeah. But Rashana Freeman says, yep, I was there when you went to your prom. You were too cute.
Fried. No, ma'am. I have a picture. I guess back then that was what we considered cute.
She says she's standing on that. She probably, if you gave her a copy, she probably has it. She has this huge thick album full of stuff. So just know she probably got it.
Oh no.
You never know. You might get on Facebook and be tagged in it. I'm just saying. And she would tag me in some stuff, and I'm like,
Don't do it, Miss Sophia. Don't do it.
oh my, yeah, boundaries, mom, boundaries. You can't be
That
tagging
part.
people and stuff. Run it by them first before you post it. Well, yeah, okay. So, what does it mean to you to have a safe space,
Hmm.
and what does that look like?
You know, if I am honest, I struggle with that.
Hmm.
Safe space is I don't think I have mastered the art of having a safe space. Uh, for me, I do know my safe space is creating whatever that may be. When my mind is going to different miles per hour and I'm trying to figure out A, B through Z, and that old song, Miss Mary Mac Mac. I was just in black trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Me. So when my mind is racing and it won't sit still, I instantly think of something to craft and clog my mind with crafting. So a safe space for me, I have not mastered a safe space because again, I don't per se live for me. I have so many people that I am living for. So um oftentimes like I don't yeah, so even if I like, oh, I'm going in my room, what is it that y'all want? Look, nobody's at the door. That was me. I do apologize. So there's kids. Life is always lifing for me. My mind is constantly going. If it's not thinking about right, if it's not thinking about this situation, I can literally be talking to you as though I am, and my mind is onto something else, like literally thinking like I got this in there, Vanessa in there is sleeping, but I'm actively engaging in a conversation with you. Um, so I have not had that safe space to where I can go and be like, you know what? Let me go here. I thought this year for my birthday that I was just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go up to the M's, give me a nice little room, give me a massage, and just relax for my birthday for real, and just turn off the. Then life happened. I took my kids fishing before and dropped my whole entire phone inside the lake along with my ID because I keep my ID in back of my phone, and I'm like, just when you thought you was about to spend your own money on you, you have to figure out and spend it. So it's just like life is always life, and but in the perfect world, it will most definitely like my best friend. Um, I love seeing her. She is one without no judgment. I mean, I can get completely naked, completely vulnerable in front of her, and life is life. And then we're just talking. There's no judgment. And I think she was here for Vanessa's birthday. And when she left, it was just like so much of me left with her because I'm like, oh, and stuff. But I have not again found that safe space at all. And what a safe space for me, I know a safe what it looks like or what it will look like for me is just um what it will look like for me or what I want it to look like for me is just a place where I can go to escape everyday reality. Um Not my home. Um just somewhere where I can go lay down or either just say, take that deep sigh. Sometimes you just need a hug or either just that and just relax without no one coming to me. And where I think it's not even so much that if I can really just quiet my mind. And I know once I was able to get a massage. I'm like, I'm thinking about everything. I had my first massage, and I was just thinking about everything. And she was just like, just relax. I'm like, I am relaxed. I'm gonna sit here and wait till you get done. I
Yeah.
get this little 90, 60 minutes. And once I was able to just really channel off my mind, I think I was able to just to sleep. And I woke up and I was just so rejuvenated and I don't know if it's just like send me somewhere to where I can just not sleep for eternity, but just rest my mind and just sleep all day and not have to do anything and not have to be like, okay, did I do this? Did I do this? And did I do this? Did I get some? And just really just relax my mind. And I think that's probably just one of the biggest issues to where even if I go out with my girlfriends,
Mhm.
my mind is still not relaxing. When I went to San Juan almost 2 years ago, I'm like, okay, let me get my kids something. They was like, you're on vacation for yourself. Why are you thinking about kids? Because I'm like, that's what I do, and da 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 this. And even today, I leave Thursday, so I'm like, okay, making sure. I'm like, okay, I got to get off work, got to hurry up and get home and start this dinner, and making sure I'm on time for here. And oh, look, while I'm at the store, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to go to the store before I leave. And let me make sure the kids got some stuff and da 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 this and mine just everywhere. And still, like I said, still knowing that I have stuff here, and I'm always thinking about others, like with my brother. Again, I don't know. I ain't never been at, first of all, I ain't never really wanted my kids to be away from me, especially not for no week. Now my son, when he get on my nerves, he'll go down to your daddy. But again, you just never know the space that someone else is in. I don't know if he had food at his house. And again, some questions I don't ask because I don't want to fix your problems. It's better for me to just be like, okay, let me just get go get my nephew. But went to go get him to the stores and run around, spend time, and then just came here to prepare to jump on. But most definitely just going somewhere, not even like far away. It could be a house next door to where I ain't got to hear my kids and just learning how to shut off my mind because I don't know how to do that. Like literally, my best friend always tell me I have adult ADHD because my mind it just never shuts off. Literally, so.
So
mm.
what does it look like for you to show up for Purtrice? And what does it look like for people to show up for Purtrice? How would
To
you like
show,
them?
to show up for Patrice is like I know it's guilt.
Mm,
I feel guilty because again I was dating this guy. He had a thing for like internet. He knew like I'm not that type of girl to where I got to be in some salon every 2 weeks.
mm,
That's probably why I grew my dreads because I hate the maintenance of hair. And I'm not about to sit and get nails done every 2 weeks, the feel and everything else like that. And I just was telling him, I'm like, it's not that I can't if that's what I wanted to do. It's just that all my life, when I became a mother, I took
mm,
that title serious. So for me, that mom guilt is real. It's, I don't know. I mean, how do you, I don't know how people not do for their like just not do for their kids. Like I can't even go inside the store and be like, you know what, I'm about to buy me something before I'm somehow like, okay, let me get this person this or let me get this kid, and it could be something that I need, but I most definitely put myself on the back burner. So showing up for trees or peaches, it's most definitely guilt. If I do, I most definitely put myself last per se. Um, yeah, I don't know how to. I think my first trip that I took without my kids was probably 2 years ago, and even that I felt so guilty. My son didn't understand the separation, and like, why I can't call my mama? Where is she going? Why I can't go with my mama? And he just didn't understand it, and even for me, and I'm like, I felt so horrible as a mom. Like,
mm,
but from and for people to show up for me, it still goes back sometimes to where I know I deserve it, but more so like what's the motive in behind it, if I can say that, or
mm,
either why. Like why I still question the why in behind it. Like
mm,
why I'm deserving and what is it that you want? What's your intentions? Those questions of, those question mark questions. What am I gonna have to do in return for it? And da 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 this. Am I gonna regret this? And da 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 this. And should I take it? Should I do this? And but showing up for others is natural. It's like breathing to me because
yeah.
that's who I am, and I struggle with doing people wrong. Sometimes I want to, like, oh, you did this to me. Yeah, I'm about to. Yeah, I'm about to,
Yeah.
get you. But yeah. Um, I don't know. Again, I think it goes back to my mind never shutting off. So again, and most of the time it's consumed with others.
Mm,
And if others do ask me for something, I feel bad for saying no a lot of the times. So,
mm,
yeah.
mm. I think that it's very admirable to be able to know and pinpoint where you are and knowing why, because a lot of people don't know the why, and the why is the struggle for people. um, you're further than most, which is meaning that you're moving towards an area in your life of, okay, well, this too is gonna come to pass. It's no longer going to be relevant. It's gonna be something that I'm gonna move on from, and then it's another thing that I have to deal with, which is the line of what healing is. It's like acknowledging that something is a hindrance to me, or something is like blocking me from doing something. Before you know it, you You look alone, you just like, wow, I guess I'm
I
not alone.
know how I don't think I struggle with the why. I just think it's more so I struggle with, like, I understand my why, but I struggle with why is it me? That part. So
Yeah,
I
just
can,
yeah,
yeah, so I understand my why, like, again, being a good hearted person, that's who I am. That's why I do things, because I'm naturally a giver. I seen my mom do it, and so okay, I'm a giver. Well, why I got to do it?
yeah,
Why I got to be everybody call person? Why? Why do? Because who I call? So I think that that's more so that I think I don't want to say that I've struggled with. Maybe we can say that I haven't come to terms with, or that I haven't accepted being that why. That why do, like, again, oh, why do I have to have a good heart? Why do I have to do the right thing? Why do I have to be a bigger person?
yeah,
Why me? Why when I want to say something off the wall that don't you say that? Well, they just said we ain't dealing with them. Like,
yeah.
if I'm not, so I think I kind of still have a hard time with that. I don't per se have a hard time with knowing my why. Like, again, I know that that's part of my DNA, but why? It's kind of like a person that's struggling with their ethnicity, or, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In here, deep, they said, Chelder says you're worth the retreat. Peaches, put a date on your calendar and stick to it. Miss Francine Williams said you need to learn to relax. You need to learn to relax. God wants
I,
that for you.
look, I know I'm trying. I just, if he can just take my mind and give it, I can, oh, yeah, I don't know why God does. I actually, Miss Francine, I have been asking God, because I noticed it, like I said, it's getting worse. I'm not gonna say it's getting worse, but I think I'm just now, as the older that I'm getting, I'm like, I've come to, like, I do this. At first, I thought it was just in one particular area, but it's in every area. So again, one, just changing my confession, but also realizing now that my mind just be everywhere, and now just asking God. Just the other day, because I was in church and we was praying, again, I can actually be praying, and my mind is, I can look over and see something. It can be a piece of paper on the pew, and I'll be like, who put that piece of paper on the pew? And maybe it just, but actively. And I'm like, how that old song, your body is here with me, but your mind is on the, however it go. Your mind ain't here with me, but your body is. And it's just, I don't know. But just asking God to really, and I just told him, like, to come in and just really start quieting my mind and
Mhm.
help me to focus. And I guess we can say focus, but I'm like, I focus pretty good. It's just that I'm all over the place with, but just focusing on that one thing that I'm doing. Um, but I think it works good in my crafting, but in my everyday life, I don't know where this brain come from. But most definitely I've noticed that, and I'm like, it is bad. And I'm like, this have to stop and stuff. But yeah,
Well said.
for
Them
your,
said you don't have to feel guilty for showing up for yourself. It's time to carve a space in your busy life for you. You need to be your healthy and best self, to be the best for your family and from one giver to another.
yeah, and I think that that's where givers struggle with. And again, like I said, that retreat would have been so nice, but again, it's just like life is always life. And then at that moment, Vanessa had caught her first fish, and it was a pretty nice size fish, and she jumping all over the place and down with my phone. I'm like, where's my phone? And at that moment, I get so upset, and I just tried to calm down. And we continued to go, we continued to fish until all the bait was gone. And I'm like, y'all want this and y'all want this, but y'all steady costing me money. And I'm like, this is an unexpected expense. Go to T-Mobile, they be like, oh, we need $250. I'm like, oh, we're a flip phone. And I don't even want it no more. But life is always life, and it's just like, it's just never a time to where when it comes for me, lives. And sometimes again, when life really lives, hey kids, check this out. There's a warning before destruction. It ain't a good day. Leave me alone. I'm gonna go in my room, and I don't want to be bothered. Figure it out. And even in those moments, I feel guilty. And I think maybe within the last 2 years, um, just realizing dealing with trauma, whether we want to put PTSD on it, whatever name we want to call it, and just really realizing that life has affected me, childhood has affected me, not having my mother has affected me, and I just have most definitely just moved on throughout life, not really dealing with certain issues, but just learning how to. I think I have master, like when stuff is going on, just hiding it, not even so much hiding it, but just dealing with it eternally.
Mm.
And then by the time it does come out, like, yeah, this is what
Yeah.
I'm going through. And just, I think within, and my son was just sunning, and I mean, he was just cutting up to where it was either gonna be me or him or both of us. And just dealing with those issues, and for the first time I realized that I wasn't okay. um and my best friend again, she was like, Peaches, you should really think about talking to someone. And I'm like, yeah, I know I should talk to someone, but I have a couple of people I can talk to. I might not can talk to them all the time, but right now, as a mother, again,
Mm.
I have to get him okay. I have to make sure he's okay, because if he's okay, then I believe that I'm okay. Because if he's not okay, then if I go and get myself together, but he's still not doing okay, then
Mm.
that doesn't make sense to me. And I always say that, you know, I don't know if I can ever shut it off or ever switch the, maybe when they grow older, I don't know. But, when I had my kids, I truly took it seriously because of that, in which I felt as though I lacked. So I probably overcompensated a lot in a lot of areas, but I feel like my time will come once I get older. And right now, I have to give everything to them because, again, they didn't ask to be here, and I have to figure it out. And I don't know if that's wrong, right, or indifferent, but that's how I've always operated because, again, I haven't always had, you know, nowhere to go, or either, like, again, well, I'm doing this, and I don't have, I never had that really, that bagging. I remember I was going through a situation, and it was just me and my two kids at the time. I left my relationship, left the relationship, left the, called off the wedding, and it was more so like, like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go into me and my kids, we went into a hotel, and I took them. That's when they were still doing virtual school, and I worked from my brother's house, and I went to school. But as soon as we got done, we went back to the hotel. And I remember, well, you could have came and stayed here if you would have obeyed my rules.
Mm.
Rules. I ma'am, I'm going through something. Where's the support of my emotions or what I just left a whole week? Can we deal with that? Now you want to talk about my rules and me growing up in your house. And I'm like, so again, just stomaching those, you know, just not being able to have that dealing with that emotion, but immediately have to jump into protection mode or either parenting mode and not deal with the emotions. And then when you are dealing with the emotion, is in the midst of you driving somewhere where you don't have the kids, or either when you think kids are asleep and they're or either at nighttime, or either a lot of times you don't deal with it, you have to deal with it mentally, because for me, I always had my kids around me. And so but yeah, so
And there's nothing wrong with having your kids around you at all, because I mean, there's some people kids their kids don't be with them at all. I'll be like, where your kids at?
that part. Look, look, I said, Mama, I got to go with my that's your daddy. Why you don't want to go with your daddy?
I could tell because Vanessa and they told her, they was like, come to Rise. And she was, I know she's going to be right there with you. And
Yeah,
she was
but
not
now
playing
she
it.
now she don't mind going into rides. Like she actually like it. But yes, my kids likes to be up under
Yeah.
up underneath me, and I'm like, goodness. Yeah, only time my son really want to go to his daddy house, I'm like, yeah, you about to get it. I'm about to beat the brakes out. Can I go over my daddy house? Because he know that his daddy ain't gonna whoop him. His daddy ain't gonna discipline him. Ain't gonna make him do no work around his house. He just, son, why you do that? And just talk to him. I'll be like, I don't know who I'm mad at, you or him. But yeah, get away from me to get a break. But yeah, my kids is always up underneath me, stuff. Which again, I don't mind because again, like I said, I purpose in when I had kids. I'm like, well, I had y'all, and I think a lot of it, like I said, came from that in which I did not have in a mother, or either not want to talk to. I mean, I think my first bras came in the mail from my auntie, and just, just things of that nature. And so it was just most definitely giving them the things that I did not have, but overcompensating for that. And maybe, oh, I wanted this, I'm gonna give it to them now. And like, oh, I messed up. I messed y'all up. Like I tell my daughter, we got through your whole senior year almost. Toward the end of November, all the way up into your graduation party. I was unemployed at the moment, and you got it customized dresses party. You better leave me alone. Yeah, so just again, because like I said, didn't have those things, and never wanted her to feel like she have to go out in the world and search for those things. Wrong, right, or indifferent. That's might be one of those things that again I might have to come back and, Mom, when you did this, you probably should have did this. And again, taking that accountability and explaining to her why I did what I did. But most definitely,
And
yeah.
you can tell she admires you because she following right into what when she was just expressing about wanting to go into the wanting to enlist and wanting to do those things. You are instrumental. So that's huge.
Yeah, I feel like we will pay, right now, and I tell her all the time, and I think sometimes she feels so much pressure. I'm like, where does this pressure come from? Because I've never, only thing you can't have, if you got to see, we got to figure it out. But that's the only thing. But like, oh, you got to be a good role model. And, I've never, I don't think, let me just say that because her version could be different by my wording and my talking and reactions. I don't believe that I have put pressure on her. I have open conversations with her, like, hey, compared to everybody else, some of your other peers, do you feel like there's things you lacking and in finance? She's like, no. and stuff. And I was never offered help for my depression, just any of those. Even when your mama died at 17, this is counseling time. Was never offered counseling, but I just feel like your first baby is always your gutter baby, and we have been through the trenches together. And with that, I just feel like she has seen so much and me struggle so much and still provided. It's just like I think she really wants to have it to where if mama needed, like you ain't got to ask nobody else. I got you. Just sit back, kind of relax. Let me help you with my brothers. And I think that that's where she wants, want to, have, because again, it was instance to where, well, this person said no, and you still helping them out, and this, and I'm like, and explaining it to her or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, Miss
This
Francine.
thing, I'm not. We're turning the new leaf. Give me a moment. I got to get used to it. Look, Miss Freeman, to tell you, Miss Francine, it's been a long look. I've been knowing her for a long time, and we have these catches. Oh yeah, I got to fill you in. I catch you up, but yeah. So I'm coming around, and like I said, um, church hurt is a different type of hurt and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, stuff. So just like I said, this time around, I made a commitment. Like, okay, God, I'm about to do this thing, and because I know I made a commitment, God has opened the doors for me. Again, just letting go of grudges and taking accountability. I'm mad at people in the church. They don't even know I'm mad at them. But again, that was a me issue and not a them issue, and just really like, okay, God, and just letting God do a work in me within itself. But and then in that, God has been faithful. He has been placing this time go around what I feel is genuine people, and even with some of the people that I felt that hurt me when I was younger, even with them coming around, I can receive them better. And stuff like that. So yeah. So I'm getting around to it, Miss Francine. I know you there. I have your telephone number. Yeah.
And you know her mama stay. Look. She always talk about her peachy or she call you her peachy and all that she do. She be like, I ain't seen peaches. She told me, she said, Peaches, no, I'll pull up. She said, I'll
Yeah.
come right where she at. She said, she told me, she said, I know some hurt feelings.
It just comes with, I think and it's not nothing that I do intentionally. I think it's again what I've when you do something for so long, it becomes a habit, and so to try to undo it, um, it's hard. So understanding what God has put in front of me now, most definitely accepted, appreciated. But Peach has been figuring out Peaches herself for a very long time. And so that's what I said. Even when God sent me my husband, how about who are you? Because well, if you say you got me, I have to understand that you got me, because it's not just you got me. Because I got three people that's depending on me. And you have to show me that you got me, not just let me hear that you got me. And because it's too easy for me to be like that song, soft girl. I want to be soft so bad, but I ain't never been able to be soft. So I know how to get me. I know how to figure out. And, it's just like, I was just telling my friend today, like, should I go on this trip? This is supposed to be my birthday trip, since my birthday trip / helping my friend with her baby shower. Now I'm thinking about canceling it. I got too much going on my plate. These shifts ain't really picking up, so where I'm able to get enough money. I think this lease is over here because I had to do a short move, and so this lease is up in September, and I'm gonna have enough money. I need to find another house. I got all of these things going on in my mind. I already bought my plane ticket. If I cancel it, I think I lose $100 off of the plane ticket. I'm like, who wants to lose money? And it's just so much just going on in my mind. So again, I have me and not really been able to go to people and be like, hey, I have this, and and I have this issue, or be able to talk to somebody and they literally help me out or help me with the issue. And so again, in this season, God has placed some people in my life to where, oh, you're not in this by yourself. We about to figure it out together. But again, I'm so used to figuring out for myself that to where most of the time, by the time I do reach out to people, I'll be like, yeah, life has been life and Miss Freeman. Let me tell you. And then, this happened and then this happened. I'm catching you up versus, reaching out to people because, like I said, just never been able to have that help, you know what I'm saying, to where people are actually, like I said, I know I got me, but are you going to have me the way that I have me? Or either, are you going to put me off on, the back burner, even, with my, like, again, just having surgeries. Surgery, what? Me sit down and relax. I'm up walking around doing that. Because again, I just cannot, I just have not, I got me. I know I got to cook. I know I got to figure out the kids. I know I got to do this. So, and I ain't got nobody knocking down my door and be like, So, and again, like I said, it's just hard to accept help from people, not because I'm trying to figure it out, but because, again, the way I conditioned myself in my prior years, I guess. So,
So, um, what are some things, and you could tell me outside of the show if you don't want to, that anybody that's watching, how can we help you? How can we show up for you right now? And if you don't want to share that, we could definitely talk afterwards. I see what I could do, see what I could connect you with, because I definitely want to connect you with a couple clients that are needing some stuff, somebody to create their like their paraphernalia. So I wanted to connect you. But what is Purtrice needing? What are you needing?
um,
How can we help?
I don't, and see, that's just the thing.
Because I mean, people on here got rental connection properties. Connect. Look, we got what you need. Food, what you need. Car service, mechanic. Everybody in here connected.
Right. No, again, I don't.
What you need to pull up just to have a one of them sister. What we need a sister circle moment. I've been thinking about
Look,
that. I'm like, we
that
need,
way to excel moments.
yeah, what we need.
Those are becoming back popular on TikTok. Everybody having one of them way to excel parties. But no, at this time, like I said, I think my biggest thing that does keep me up is most definitely just finding somewhere to, be to where I'm not putting this stuff in a storage and then spending money in a hotel and just that part of it. But other than that, like I said, again, me figuring out, I've always figured out that part and just, coming up with that. But other than that, I think that as of right now, because it's like, to me, that's tomorrow. Even, and so just figuring out and like, what school we going to, Mom? Homeschool. That's where you're going. You're gonna go to homeschool. I don't know your teacher just yet, but look, but baby, because so it just, they excited and just finding enough space to accommodate. But just knowing that God is still faithful and he's gonna figure it out. And like I said, with my brain being all over the place, like, okay, God, I'm waiting on you to move. Okay, God, you ain't moving fast enough. So let me do this. And so it just knowing, like I was on the phone with Mrs. Jones earlier because she had gave me a report about my son. But and I was just explaining to her that I don't know if it's because my brain be all over the place that I don't know if my prayers are be effective or not. But just again, just realizing the problem and asking God to fix the problem per se. But yeah, so it's literally it's kind of hard for me to be like, yeah, this is what I'm needing and asking for help because again, when done it in the past, whether I was younger, it's just like, yeah. Yeah. So I've always, figure it out by myself. Yeah. So I don't know.
Mm. You got some prayer warriors on here, and they already tapping into the spirit to know how they can show up for you. So just know, God, He definitely gonna come through sooner than you realize.
Right.
Yes.
He have to. So that's why I was telling my friend. She was like, "Well, you're gonna cancel the trip. It's already paid for, and you did not already did this stuff." And I'm like, "I know, but yeah." So I'm like, "I don't know. Something gonna come through." So I was like, "But anyway, I hurried up and changed the subject because again, that's my problem. Let me figure it out. I'll catch you up once it's figured out." So yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. I am happy that you shared that, and you're vulnerable enough to share that. Just that space and just being honest with you and where you are. So that's very admirable. So I do have two more questions.
Okay.
To wrap up. What advice would you give someone who feels stuck in the victim phase and sees no path forward?
Um. Again, going back to what I said earlier, is either even for me, 17, no parent, no mom. I think maybe a year before that, maybe 2 years, I had learned that my biological father had died. Then when you fill out your college application, you learn that you're legally an orphan, and like what? So offensive and stuff. But at that moment, I could have been a pick me. Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Complain, complain, complain. Um, you know, um, complained about everything I did not have. But I know as I get older, I was most definitely created for a purpose and not understanding my full purpose as of yet. But to know that there's a work and just like, okay, yeah, this happened to you, but you're still here. Yeah, you don't got the big house, but you have somewhere. But just focusing on what you do have. I said looking at that cup as half empty, just looking at it again as half full and adding figuring out how can you add to it, whether and for me, I think when I add to my cup, that's adding into people and learning how to add to the right people instead of the wrong people. Because again, helping others out it does something for me because one, it comes from a genuine space in a genuine place, but I don't do it like, oh, I'm going to help this person out so that I can get something in return. But again, it's truly who I am. But just always encouraging you to look at the cup as half full. I can say I don't have this, but what do I do have? Um, and one of the I think that that's most definitely all that I can say. In accountability. Accountability, 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 accountability. And again, just looking at the cup as half full, because, even trying to teach Vanessa, yeah, life is hard. It hasn't been easy for us. We got to move again while you in school and da 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 this. And it's frustrating. I get it. You
Mhm.
ain't got no bills to pay. You ain't got to be the one to come up with the rent, the deposit. You got to eat. You easy, and I get that. Even though you easy, you are still going through it. But concentrate on what you do have. You have a support system that you can call. You have you have family and friends that have um got you your stuff to they got you some of your stuff that you're wanting to go to college with. Um, Thank God that we stay in the world to where you ain't got to buy everything up front. You can make it in payments. And thank God that I did not, while I was without a job, that I wasn't running up my credit and let me charge this, let me charge this. That I knew this day was going to come again, where again, just like you don't like asking for nobody for stuff, I don't like asking for nobody's stuff neither. So again, for Vanessa, as my daughter, I had her. It's my responsibility, whether your daddy help or don't, to get you the things that you need to go to college with, and some of the things that you want, and understanding that you might not have everything on your bucket list, but understand, when have I ever failed you? And so you're still at a much better place than what you did, as though you don't have nobody. And I told her, I encouraged her to stop going throughout life like you don't have nobody. Like, you a working person, and you going to work, and you going to school, and you paying my bills, and you don't have that. Yes, it's hard, but you have a lot that you could be grateful for, and that you should add to your cup. And so, yeah.
Mhm. And that's all of that is like I can only imagine. I don't have kids yet, but I can't even imagine. But I could just see how that has been like a I wouldn't say weight per se, but how that has been a thing for you.
Absolutely, because I was talking to my sister. She created this list, and TikTok is making the must-haves that you have for dorms. I'm like, what all did I take for dorm? Because I know I in with a $900 check. I know I didn't get all of this stuff, and she want this, she want this, and I'm like. And I'm, oh, Vanessa, you should get this. And they say you should get this and this and this. And they want headboards now. They want, I'm like, y'all even got decorative pillows at y'all. I'm like, okay, let me be the good mom to get you these wants mixed in with some of your needs and stuff. So, like, and I'm like, so I think I did her first card. It was almost, it was a high number. And I'm like, I didn't even get anything for real. I'm like, hey, you got your starter kit. And then some of the things they said that they couldn't deliver, it was out of stock or something. So they gave me a credit. So then I end up getting someone. I'm like, oh, let me buy her this too. And just because I never again, like I told her, and I did things so you wouldn't have to do. I laid on my back. I did things so that you would never ever have to do. And I never wanted to feel like you in position to where you on college campus and you looking around and everybody else have this, even though you know who you are. But it's hard out. I believe kids with social media, is the pressure is so much harder than what I've ever had to go through. But I never want you to be in a position to where you feel as though you had to do this because you wanted something and you couldn't get it. Now, understand, if you choose to take that route, you did that because that's what you wanted to do, not because that's what you had to do. Because if there was something that you wanted in our needed, then I would have made it happen for you, no matter if a bill had to go unpaid, or or something like that. Like right now, I got stuff. Why am I getting her a headboard? You better use this headboard for the rest of your life. But again, I didn't want her to feel inadequate. Not that she'll feel inadequate, or either her trying to be up at school, trying, let me get a headboard, or or whatever these kids think about now. But I don't necessarily want to say it's been pressure, because I think it's what I've always have done for the past 18 years. I've always figured it out.
Mhm. Well, I believe she gonna make you proud. I just know it. I see it in her.
Yeah, I most definitely. I think that she got it. When she thinks she can feel, she'll come in. Oh man, I'm like, what have you done now? I'm like, get off of me. So I think she just, and like I told her, there is not, you're so far ahead of the game. Like you have to, again, even though it's not, might not be physical things, but even in that, you might not have this, you might not have that. Oh, Vanessa, look at what you do have. You got 2 years of education, of free education up underneath your belt that you don't have to pay for. You are ahead of the game. Her roommate, she connected with her roommate. Um, she's on college campus now, trying to take some of her core classes,
Mm.
her prereqs, to get them out the way. Vanessa, you don't have to worry about that. The most you have to worry about is 2 years, maybe two and a half at the most. Because with all of those credits you have, even if they don't take, even if they say we only take, taking 20, you're still ahead of the game. All
Yeah.
thing you have to do is take an online class or summer class, and you still within your graduating. You ain't doing 4 years. So, and I just try to get her to look at things
Good point.
like that, whatever. So, yeah.
Because I mean, she going to HBCU. I'm telling you one thing. HBCUs definitely pour into you in many different areas, but you either sink or you float at HBCU, and she gonna definitely float. She gonna
She
fly.
ain't got no choice because
She got the tools for it. The people she meeting
I'm on campus sitting there. She know. Yeah, I will be in a college campus. I'm the mother of this one. Yeah. So
at,
she do not want that college embarrassment. Look,
I think that
look,
is
I got the look. I told her I should give me a bright yellow shirt. I'm Vanessa mom. Moving her in and stuff. So we even like just moving her in. Like I was telling my brother, y'all complaining, I said, ain't nobody offered to help moving us in, and y'all my brothers. I said no. But yeah, so but it's most definitely an exciting time, and just looking forward to. But again, I believe that she will most definitely be okay. Again, it's like, allowing her. I think the most uh nerve wracking thing is probably just she's away, and now I have to watch those seeds that I planted, good or bad. Uh, more good than bad, hopefully. But just watching those grow and just like, you can't go there. Like, Mama, can I go to this? Can I go to this? What they call it? I forgot what they call it. But basically, can she go to her hangout? I think that was doing. It was something that they wanted to do for the youth at Swole Park. I'm like, Swole Park? Oh no, y'all can't. No, you can't go to Swole Park. And so now teaching her what discernment is and helping her understand, not just telling her no, because for us it was just no, but explaining to her the no and the why behind it.
yeah.
At times, a lot of the times, but now, are we gonna go to that frat party, even though something in that saying not to go, and just like, oh Jesus, like she got her some beats. I didn't want her to have the beats because I'm like, are you gonna be walking around campus with both of those things over your ears, and now you ain't paying attention to your surroundings, and you ain't
Yeah.
watching what goes around? Can you just leave one of them, or just not walk like? But just like, not just discouraging her from the things that now, and just watching her really just flourish and live her life, and just trusting the choices that she did make. The one thing, nope, you're not taking your car. You need to get to know the campus. But just sitting back and watching her now become the fruits of my labor, just watching her become the young lady that I raised, and like, okay, and then just still supporting her along the way.
Yeah. I, I I know she got this. I believe I see it in there. I know she got it.
Right.
You know, but then again, she only about what 2 hours away. It's a
Oh
drive.
yeah, that's what
All
I'm
you gotta
on.
say is you was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't mind. I got your location. I got to have access to them graves, but them graves looking like I will, and not even I will pop up.
Oh, you
And
one of them.
oh, baby, if I pop up, it's a problem. What's wrong with your face?
You got this.
I just sit there, then I fall down my bike.
Oh, you
Mm.
Then I just do that.
okay? Why you trying to be nosy?
Hey.
Then my favorite.
Hmm.
And then hot.
Okay, it's hot.
All right. So this is about one last question.
Okay.
What is the ultimate message of hope you want to convey to those who are striving to move from victim to victor?
Hmm. It's not easy, but it's worth it. It's not easy, but it's most definitely worth it. And life is what you make it. Um, Again, self healing comes from within, knowing who you are, and that takes a long time, especially when you've been told what you ain't. And I think even within my business, I think sometimes I struggle with um not being as far as I am sometimes in my business because, like I said, it wasn't until my son, and just not even in my business, and just when I wanted to go back to school to be like, hey, I got this. It's like, I'm like, but no, and oh, nah, you gonna go to work. I'm gonna make sure you go to work. It just, him really investing in, just like, no, I'll buy you the machine. And when he first bought me it was just a little press machine because I wanted, and just seeing from there and how it grew. But I remember I had company for the first time, and my grandma was just like, she ain't got nothing to offer you. And it's just, and that's probably one of the ones that stuck with me for the rest of my life. So even though she said I didn't have nothing to offer him, it was more so setting a mind to, am I good enough? So a lot of the stuff I tolerated and sometimes still tolerate, it comes from a broken childhood, a trauma to where, am I really good enough now? This is all I deserve. And just having again to, you're this, and getting in the Bible and trying to discover who God says I am, and just really rewriting my own story. So
That's good. That's good. When he said rewriting, controlling your own narrative,
tip, absolutely,
you taking control of it. No one else.
absolutely,
Because if you give somebody the pen, they're gonna write it. They're gonna make it
absolutely. And again, just writing, even not allowing writing my story in pencil and not in pen,
that part.
because it can always, I'm not a mistake, I can start over,
Yeah.
you know and I'm not ashamed. Again, when you erase something, it wasn't there, you wrote over it, and just being okay with that. And yeah, I don't have to be perfect. Only time I strive to be perfect is within my crafts. But yeah.
Wow. Wow. Beautifully responded to. You responded to that beautifully. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you did not share that you would like to share?
No, I hope that with your podcast, I was trying to see how many viewers, but I guess that doesn't matter. But I just hope, huh?
We went over about 15. It's you'll see the calculation at the end.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
get
But
a
I just
couple.
hope that I hope that it came off authentic. I hope that I was very transparent. And I hope, whatever, I hope that I was able to reach someone, was transparent, or to help someone. And no, I'm not perfect, and just understanding that the more I pour into others, I think it's self healing for myself as well. But I think again, I don't think I missed anything. I don't think I come back and be like, Destiny, I should have said this, or or anything of that nature. I hope no one feels as though like, dang, it felt like she had something that, or I was holding back. So I hope again, most definitely, I hope I was candid and very transparent.
You are authentically yourself. Like I told you before, there's no right, there's no wrong. There's no this has been a great podcast. I have people that watch it and they reach out to me and they ask who is that person. I need to talk to them, or hey, can I connect with them, or hey, they're amazing. People might comment under the video, they'll like it. Um Definitely these episodes reach people. So don't ever think that they're not. And people come into this space because they're battling with things themselves. So they're looking for things, they're wanting to have clarity about things. So just know God had you on the podcast this day, this time, doing these times and these moments because you had something. You know you
Right.
had it. So you're a blessing to me and to everybody. So I mean these comments been jumping, but the comment section and people, you got 7 viewers on right now.
Okay.
Yes, they here deep. So, I just want to thank you because, it's not easy getting onto the podcast because people are nervous beforehand and then they flow. But I knew you were just I knew you were gonna flow. I knew it. I knew it. Some people be like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? Then they get on, they be like, this ain't nothing. Let me know the next time that I could be on here.
Yeah, anytime. Sign me up anytime.
Literally, because they like, I love it. But if there's a time where you feel like you're wanting to come back on, don't hesitate to reach out because I would love to have you on again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, in that, I want to say that's a wrap on another incredibly moving episode of Persperity Podcast, From Victim to Victor, overcoming the legacy of abuse and betrayal with the truly inspiring Purtrice Peaches Shaw. I hope Peaches' journey has resonated with you and empowered you to embrace your own strength. If today's conversation uplifted you, please subscribe to Persperity Podcast. That's Persperity Podcast on YouTube. And be sure to ring that notification bell so you never miss out on future episodes. Join me again next week with the authors of Chronicles of the Chosen, Claiming What's Mine, Part 2. Thank you, Peaches, and I hope you have an amazing evening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Now, my theme song, everybody.
In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we'll take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn.
Bye.
This
See you
journey
all
of
next
healing
week.